Yo, what's up? It's me, Weeb here. It's been a few days since our last Storytime video, so sorry about that. But anyway, I was just walking through a store today when I saw a kit of Beyblades, and it just gave me some PTSD, like some Vietnam War flashback kind of shit, you know? Anyway, if you degenerates would appease me, then hit the like button and subscribe to my channel here for more videos every few months, maybe, who knows. Anyhow, we're going to be getting into the story of how I was involved in my school's underground black market. So starting off, a few things you should know is that the school I used to go to when I was a kid in elementary school wasn't your typical huge elementary school. It had like maybe 300, 400 kids. It was pretty small comparatively to some of the other like larger schools in the area since I live near a pretty major city. But that's besides the point. Anyway, at this school, and at every school I would say in the entire country around this time, back then in the 2010s, 2000s eras, right? Everyone was about two things: Pokemon cards and Beyblades, right? And now, back as a kid, you couldn't really buy shit, okay? No one had money. Everyone had quarters and their school's lunch spork that they may have saved to go play in the sandbox or some shit. I don't know. But anyway, everyone had that, right? And everyone wanted Beyblades or Pokemon cards. So if your parents, your mom or dad bought you the coolest Beyblades or coolest Pokemon cards, you were automatically popular, right? So everyone decided one day, we were all just in class chilling, and I was hanging out with some friends, right? And so we all go down to lunch after our third class, fourth class, I don't know. We were just like ravenous little beasts ready to feast on lunch like a couple of vultures in the sky, feasting on a dead corpse. But anyway, as we're all just devouring our food, little monsters that we are, we decide that we want to play some Beyblades, right? So the good friend of mine, oh yeah, I should probably address something. Now you guys might be wondering, Weeb, how do you have friends? And that is a good question, but we're going to ignore that for now. Anyway, back to the story itself, right? So we're just eating and chilling. And then one of my friends, like I was saying, let's call him Roger. Roger pulls out his huge Beyblade arena kit. So if you guys remember back in like 2012, 2013, 2011, I don't know, these kits were the shit. You could buy a whole arena, which was like maybe 2 feet long. It was plastic. And when you said let it rip and you pulled that little plastic spiker and your full on Beyblade just came crashing down to the ring and just started whacking against each other. Some of the sparks were fly, blood, people's hands getting chopped off and eaten up by hawks and, nearby roaches that might be nesting nearby. Who knows? But anyway, basically, Roger pulls out his Beyblade arena kit. And in our school, when you pull out the arena kit, it's going down. Shit got crazy, all right? So we got like 30 kids from different classes all coming around and gathering around our lunch table like it was the holy sword Excalibur, ready to test their might against it. And every kid, even though at this point, you guys know that you're not allowed to bring stuff to school, we did it anyway. They couldn't do anything to stop us. It was too powerful. Beyblades were too hype at the time. So anyway, the kids would pull out their Beyblades and challenge each other. And this is when we would begin to get the idea. Me and my other friend, not Roger, by the way, a different friend, we're going to call him Donald for now. Now, Donald is an evil little shit, and he knows exactly how to get things he wants. He'll find any which possible way in order to get things from his parents, manipulate them, manipulate other people to get what he wants. He's just an evil little shit all the way around. But because we were friends, the enemy of your enemy is your friend, this being Donald. So Donald comes up with an idea, and he whispers it to me. He's like, yo, weeb, yo. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? And he says, so people love this, right? And most people can't buy arenas. What if we have our own underground fight club? And this is like around the time in the Fight Club movie, like not around the time, but you guys know what the movie Fight Club is. You don't talk about Fight Club. And at our school, that was now a big no-no. You didn't fight at all. If you fought someone, you got expelled. It was all full-on, no fighting, no bullying, all that stuff, right? And basically, I'm like, you sure about that? You sure? And we have an idea. So at our playground, underneath the slides area, there was this little like room almost. So basically, the plastic would curve in. Like, you guys know those Indian teepees that are really fake, that are made of like plastic and cardboard and who knows what else, like made chewing gum, just sticking it together, keeping it together from the wind, that you can find like Missouri, Nebraska on those like big road trips at those rest stops, right? Basically, it was like that. It was just a little nook underneath the slide area. And now this is where we get into the part of the story where the black market begins. So obviously it's going to take a little bit going for this market to get started. And so me and my 6 other friends, right, we all decide on this after the Beyblade session was over. And someone won. I don't know who. I forgot at this point. But basically, we took Roger's arena out to the playground with us, hid it in his backpack, and we took it out with us when we went out for recess, right? We're just playing around, pretending. We go under the area that Donald talked about, right? And we're chilling. And that's when we come up with the idea, as we decide to pool all of our money together to start this market thing. This was the golden era of Beyblades and Pokemon. there was definitely kids who would be willing to spend money on this, and we were right. So by investing our maybe $5 or $6, we would offer to buy a Beyblade off of a kid for higher than net worth price, right? And so those kids started talking about how people were buying Beyblades and selling stuff to the other kids. So this rumor began to spread around. So let's say 3 or 4 days later, maybe a week, I don't know. It's been a long time. Suddenly we have now a group of around 10 or 11 kids fitting into this tiny space. And obviously from the outside, it looks like all the kids are missing. So all the people who are watching, like whatever you call them, like playground monitors, they have no clue what's going on. So they're like looking around and stuff, but they don't catch it at first, all right? We'll get to that later. Anyways, everyone arrived. We started working on selling the Beyblades and Pokemon cards we had acquired over the past few days, right? So we started selling Pokemon cards and Beyblades for money. Now this is when the tournament arc of the anime starts. As we use Roger's playset, remember from before, we use his play arena, and we decided to host a Beyblade tournament. This tournament, we would award $30 to the winner, whoever won. Now the key to this is that everyone was desperate to win, and this is where things started to get dangerous. Kids started to use pocket knives, or like their knives at home, like they would get from the kitchen or something, right? And they would sharpen these Beyblades. Now, these aren't Beyblades like you buy nowadays. The Beyblades I'm talking about are the OG shit, the good shit, all right? Like, Beyblades now are plastic and weak. Lego bricks look like an armored titan compared to them. But anyway, as the tournament's about to start pretty soon, this would be when kids are starting to get ferocious, right? Because like I said, everyone's like a little monster, and they all want this $30. They can buy so many Pokemon cards and Beyblades with that. They can buy a whole pack of Pokemon cards, multiple even. This is a lot of money for back then, all right? $30 for a kid is huge. It's like winning the lottery. And we'd acquire this much simply by selling and following Donald's plan, who's just an economical mastermind, right? Now, this is where the good shit comes in, all right? These kids had sharpened their Beyblades, and these Beyblades I'm talking about are metal Beyblades. So at this time, if you guys know how Beyblades work, you can customize, and you can just customize your Beyblades by just deform them and recombine them. It's a lot like how, like Skylanders, if you guys remember those, how you could combine those in one of the games. But anyway, you can combine and make different Beyblades by taking different parts apart. So this kid, a lot of kids actually, including myself, we had our metal Beyblades and we'd sharpen them to the point where they were almost like razors, like steak knives. So they had serrated edges on some of these very fast spinning metal objects, right? This would be when we decided to start the tournament, and shit gets crazy. Have you seen wood chips catch fire on a playground? Because I have. I've seen actual wood chips start on fire from a Beyblade battle. That's how intense it was. It was Jiren versus Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku levels of fighting. You can imagine the music in the background. Epic battles as the two Beyblades are just chinging against each other. Sparks fly. Some stuff catches on fire. There's smoke. Kids are screaming and jumping up and down, watching. Everyone's flexing. The dudes are trying to flex for the girls. They're like, yeah, look at my Beyblade. Look how cool it is. Look, I'm going to crush this guy. And so they're fighting. This is like an MMA professional match, right? And we're going ham, all right? Everyone's going crazy. It's getting wild. And suddenly, as the battle's about to be over, the one kid starts to get butthurt, right? Because his is losing. You know how you can start to tell lose? It begins shaking and slows down, and it's not as fast anymore. The other kid bumps his, right? And this is when he freaks out and breaks a tournament rule. Now, we knew that kids were going to do this to the Beyblades. They've done it before in professional tournaments, which we've seen, of course, since we're experts on Beyblades at this point in time. And so we decided that no one's allowed to put their hand into the arena until both Beyblades stop spinning, since we saw how sharp these things were. Now, this kid reaches in to whack the other kid's Beyblade out of orbit so he can win, since at this time, this is a good idea, right? Now, you guys might be able to imagine what happened as he sticks his hand in. We see red as his finger gets like cut by the metal spinning. He like pulls his hand back and there's just blood flowing down his hand, and we're all screaming now. This is when all of those playground watchers that I talked about before come running over, and we look at each other and we scramble. My group, we dip. We grab Roger's arena, right? And we get out of Dodge. We run to the entire other side of the playground and we just hop on the swings, and they didn't see us. They didn't catch us, right? So this is the first close call for the entire black market. But they found everyone else, and they didn't run in time. They were too slow. They found the kid with his hand bleeding and asked what happened. And this kid, let's call him Jake, was a legend. He did not snitch. He said nothing. He said he cut his hand on a wood chip when he was playing around with it. He had hidden the Beyblade that had cut him and his own in his pocket, hiding them and protecting the black market. Absolute legend. So the tournament was still back on. So after around maybe 3 or 4 days later, when they were off their radar and they weren't checking there as much, we held the tournament again, and this time we prohibited using the sharpened metal Beyblades so we didn't get in trouble again. Now, you remember the kid before whose Beyblade got slapped away? We decided to take both kids out just because it wasn't fair, and also his Beyblade hurt someone, so we thought that was fair to kick him out, both of them off. But anyway, this other kid was butthurt, right? So he was really upset. And he'd been a pretty long customer for a while now, like 4 days, since this thing's only been around for 2 weeks. This will be when he becomes a snitch. So as the tournament's starting, everyone's excited again. We have snacks, everyone's ready, we got drinks, we got everything. Me, Donald, Roger, and all the gang, the boys, we're just hanging out, right? We're watching this, and I'm holding the $30, I'm like siphoning through, I'm just looking at it. And this is when suddenly, without warning, all 3 of the playground monitors come in, and they see the Beyblades, the worst evils to know mankind, and they start screaming. They're like, "That's dangerous, you can't have toys at school, how dare you?" And we look offended. "How dare you call our Beyblades mere toys? These are massive weapons of destruction." They did not know that Moses split the Red Sea with a Beyblade. And so these adults, they would just grab the set, and we would lose out. We would lose Roger's set and all the Beyblades that had been captured. And the worst part was that we would eventually get snitched out by that same kid. I'm not going to give him a name because unlike him, I'm not a snitch. But anyway, we have to give back all the money, and we have to retrade everything back to the way it was before the black market started. Do you think we have any idea how many Beyblades and Pokemons we had in circulation? These kids were depressed. We were all upset. And we all decided to take the hit, and we had to do it since that was kind of, how it was. So everything gets taken away, and we have all our stuff back, and we lose nothing, we gain nothing, other than the fact that this one kid's not our friend, and we don't talk to him anymore. No one talks to him. He ruined it all. Everyone was upset about that day. The black market was found out, and the Beyblade Championship was ruined. It's like the Chunin exams, and Orochimaru was that kid with the Sound Village and Sand Village coming on to us and just destroying us all. It's pretty horrible. But anyway, that's it for today's story time. If you guys want to hear more things about black markets and shops and things that I've had in school, I have another wild story that I can remember from middle school. So if you guys want to hear about that, then hit the like button. Comment down below any video ideas you want me to do. Or even feel free to write down your own story and I might make it a video. So anyway, I'll see all of you guys in the next one. Goodbye.